Yeah.
Wolverine.
Okay. So, I don't know if you heard that last bit, but that was about businesses, corporations have now got a policy, because it's worth money to them, to start using renewable energies. Because I don't believe in money, I find that side of things a bit disgusting, to be quite honest. They've had these systems for a long time, and just because it was not worth money to them at that time, they kept them out of the way. I remember in the 70s, early 80s, some new forms of engines that were non-pollutants. Car industry, oil industry bought the patents up, had nothing from them till just recently, 10 years ago, when it all started being worth money to them, maybe a bit further back. But this is the policy by the big corporations. If it's not worth money to them, they won't use it. So remember how they think. They don't think people, they think money. Money, money, money. Don't like this stuff. So, we can now actually make solar panels out of stuff that we have in the house. There's videos about it, how to make your own solar panels. Check them out. You can see that we can actually make them with things that we have in the house, or just a couple of specialised things, but you can now make solar panels. And I've been saying this for quite a while. Let's start doing it. Let's start taking, because if you look at some of the people who are using solar panels, for instance, it produces enough energy to energise their own homes, and then they can sell the extra to the energy companies. They can sell the extra to the energy companies. So not only is it worth money to the energy companies to go solar, for instance, it's also worth it to you now as well, because you can produce enough energy from solar panels that you actually energise your own home and have spare, sell it back to the energy company. It's great stuff. They really don't like these things, these people, because what we're doing, we're taking the power back. And as I said in the very first part of the talk, that's what it's all about. Because I don't want to finance any of these people anymore, and I don't want you guys to anymore. And we don't have to. We can do it ourselves. Because there's enough systems of every type, as I've mentioned, growing food, education, all these things, we can do. Energy, yeah, there's just so many that I've just picked onto the mighty tiny engines, because I don't think many people have heard of that. And the noise one, I know not many people have heard of that, because I've talked about it and I've been called a nutter. How can you get energy from noise? Well, if you look thermoacoustics up, you can see, it shows you, that we can use sound, noise to produce energy. Energy sources, yeah, we've gone through that one, I think, pretty much. Yeah. Just let me go back a couple of pages. Number 8 was, this one I'm going to have some fun with. Resources and production. Okay. I keep hearing it. I keep hearing this everywhere, and I'm sure you do, that we're running out of resources. Yes, that's because the resources we use, we don't use to the full extent of their life. Yeah? And I'll give you an instance. TVs. Because TVs keep getting better and better and bigger, what happens? People buy new TVs. What do? They throw the old ones away. Now, fortunately, there's a lot of people out there who actually go, I call it street, I used to call it street shopping, I'm going to start calling it street recycling. And they do it in Amsterdam, they used to do it in England, and that is people chuck really stuff that's nothing wrong with it, but they've got a new one. They don't want that one because it's old and horrible. And they've got a new one. So there's all these resources that are being used and then just thrown away, even though there's nothing wrong with them. Couches, chairs, tables, carpets. Most of my own homes that I've lived in, 75% of the furniture and possessions I have in the house are recycled from the streets. Every single time I get my own home, I'll buy a couple of things and then I'll just go street recycling and bam. And you can hear loads of people talk about this all over. Oh yeah, I got a great TV from the streets the other day. It's because somebody's got a plasma screen TV and they've thrown the old one away. So don't tell me we haven't got enough resources. You can tell me we're wasting our resources, but don't tell us we haven't got enough. So what I'd like to see, and this is from Jacques Fresco again, is a stock check on all our natural resources, but I'd also like to see it, this brought down to a really local level where we go to the waste dumps and we check what resources have been thrown away there that we can reuse, recycle. Instead of just going, oh, what new resources have we got? Let's also look at what resources we've got and thrown away. You see, these things are so easy. It's just, it's got to be new. We've got to have the new plasma, we've got to have the new computer, we've got to have the new this, we've got to have the new that. What I do like here in Holland, and it's sort of flaring up more and more because it's financially viable now. Damaged phones, damaged computers, you can send them off to certain places and get money back for them. They then repair them and sell them on, or take them to pieces and reuse the pieces. How easy is that? We can start doing that. I mean, I know a load of people who can, I've seen it, they've just got bits and bobs computer-wise that have been thrown away and not used anymore and made beautiful computer systems out of it. All from recycled things. A lot of this is the young uns, because they can't afford to buy a brand new computer or they can't afford this. They're looking around to see what they can find, talking to friends. Oh yeah, I don't need this keyboard anymore. Oh great, that'll go with this. Oh, I've got a screen here, you can have that. Bam, they've got a computer. It's so easy. Nothing I'm talking about is science beyond our science, because we're all learning to recycle. I love it. The governments of the world are really forcing us to think again. They're really starting to make us use our brains and look at what we've got and what's out there and build something from nothing. I had this thought today, to be honest. I've never been an artist, as I've said before, but what I do like in the art world that's going on is that artists are starting to make things from recycled stuff, making art objects, making whatever from recycled materials. So I think they've been doing this quite a while, so they've been, in a way, they've been a little bit of forerunner in the art of recycling in that sense, to make something beautiful out of all this rubbish. Okay, they've made rubbish out of this rubbish, but there's still some really nice art objects that are okay. So, yeah, production. What I'd like to see is a total stop on production. Total stop. Until we have recycled all the products that are out there already. That way we conserve the resources that are in the world that we haven't used. Because I think you'll find that we've thrown enough stuff away to keep ourselves going for maybe the next 10, 20 years without actually producing anything new. The only reason we're producing new stuff is because technology keeps coming up with better and better things, better and better ways of making things. So before we, at some point, I hope this comes into being that we actually stop production of all new things and we recycle all the old stuff. I'm going to go into this quite a little bit anyway, because I've been looking into this. A couple of years ago again, there was a Japanese scientist who actually made land from rubbish. And to see whether or not you could actually grow things in this land, they picked a really sensitive plant. I can't remember what it's called because it was a while back, but a really sensitive plant that's sensitive to its environment and just its environment, and it grew. So it shows that it can be used to create land that you can grow things in. And not just that, there's a few people, one man in particular, if you look on Kickstarter.com, who's basically built a little island that he lives on from rubbish. He lives on this. And the first time he started it was quite small, and if you look at it now, he's got himself a nice little island that's his, and he lives on it, and it's all created from plastic. Yeah? So he's made it on water, floats, he's got it to the point where he can fasten it down if there's really bad weather, so it stays together and it's solid. In England, I watched a thing on recycling. We can now recycle glass, plastic, paper, where it all gets used again. You might have a little bit of like bits of the rubbish that comes from that's you can't use. But I'd say, shall we say 90%? At a guess, 90% of recycled stuff is actually recycled, and then there's maybe 10% that's not recyclable. If I can say it that way, recyclable. Yeah. So I'll keep saying this. Let's stop production and recycle what we've got. I mean, as I say, paper, glass, and the way they do it in England, if I got this right, with glass, if it's white glass, it stays in England. If it's green and brown glass, it goes to places like France, Spain, for the wine bottles. Yeah? So we're recycling more and more, but once again, I'm going to come back to this again. The only reason it is being recycled is because it's financially viable. How long have we had these systems where they haven't been used? Because it's not worth money to the big companies. Now it's worth money, they're all doing it. And as I said earlier, most businesses have a policy now of recycling and using renewable energies and all these things because it's worth money to them. There's I can't remember what they call it, but there's a group in America that have has been working with businesses and such like. And as I say, there is a policy, this guy's read it, that it's now financially viable to do these things. So they're doing them. It all comes down to money. I keep saying this, I'll keep saying it. This is why I don't like this stuff, because you can do whatever you want once you've got the money. You can control masses and masses of people just by withdrawing certain things, keeping money out of the system.